I'd like to call the Paramount City Council meeting of April 25th, 2023 to order. It is now 5 p.m. If we can go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Lemons, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand. Place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Heidi, can you please take roll of council members, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Lemons.
Here.
Councilmember Olmos.
Here.
Councilmember Quer Stallings.
Here.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Present.
Mayor Aguayo.
Present.
This one open.
Okay. Thank you. Now, actually, if my colleagues will go ahead and join me at the podium, we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentations. Good evening, everyone. We really do have a number of special presentations, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First up is actually the Mayor's Award of Excellence. So would Deputy Renata Phillip please come up and join us? I was just saying we should wear, I just said we should wear tennis shoes, so. Okay. It is with great pleasure to present my first Mayor's Award of Excellence to Deputy Phillip. After working as a high school teacher, she joined the Sheriff's Department in 2016. A few years later, she became the school resource officer for Paramount Unified. She served on all 18 campuses with thousands of students, a huge undertaking that she excelled at. I think the last assignment was Paramount High School. Paramount High School is one of the largest high schools in California. They have an enrollment of over 4,000 students right now, so that was a huge undertaking. Deputy Phillip was both respected and beloved by staff, pupils, and parents. Recently, transferred to another job with the Sheriff's Department, but one of her last activities, which she actually volunteered for, she coordinated the active shooter exercise at Paramount High School. This took 6 months to organize and coordinate. And again, she volunteered for this. So on April 10th, this drill took place. It was a hugely ambitious project with 100 participants from agencies from all over the area. God forbid the tactics rehearsed and the lessons learned will ever need to be used in real life. But it was very worthwhile training and considered one of the best exercises of its kind in the region. And it will only make our community safer. The deputy says that working in Paramount has been among the most enjoyable times of her career. She added that there isn't a finer example of law enforcement, public safety, and civilian personnel working side by side together to serve our residents. We thank Deputy Phillip for the dedication, creativity, and energy you have brought to Paramount. I'm proud to say that she is my first award recipient. Would like to say a few words, please?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to speak from the heart here, but I'm also going to use this time to brag about the folks that I've come into contact with and the folks that made that day possible and what you all have done for me in Paramount, starting with my Lieutenant Morales. If you have the pleasure to be around him, you will realize that he is a man who will very much be in his office. He'll do his office work, but he will put on a vest and go 10-8, or he'll go full duty with you when you need help. He's always there. He does it all. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. He's quiet, but he's particular, and he pushes you to excel. He provided me with this opportunity, and I shared with him some of my shortcomings, and I said, like, LT, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this. So he's very intuitive, And so he found a way to still gently push me ahead, kind of pick up that slack, and I'm a much better person, a better deputy for it. I also want to thank public safety. So Maggie and Eric, and I love that everybody in public safety is quietly going about their business, right? And you think, oh, I work with these people and they're quiet, soft-spoken, but they advocate for the citizens in Paramount like no one I've ever seen, and I absolutely love it. I also want to thank the SAO team. So that's what makes Paramount Paramount. Best partners I've ever had. I love it. It makes you want to work overtime. And trust me, who wants to work overtime? But with these guys, you always want to work overtime. Our Tactics and Survival Unit, our Emergency Operations Bureau, who most of these people are not here, but it would not have happened without them. So I can't take credit for this. This is a team effort. I see a lot of familiar faces whom I miss very much, but thank you all. I appreciate it. Thanks. Sorry, I want to be behind the scenes. Congratulations. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now would deputies Andrew Valenzuela, Martin Sepulveda, Giovanni Galindo, and any other deputies who are part of the race team, please join us. These are some of the deputies that participated in the Baker to Vegas event. So every spring for 37 years, law enforcement agencies from around the globe have taken part in the annual Baker to Vegas run. This involves 10,000 runners, guests, family members, and support staff covering 120 miles. It is the world's most prestigious and unique law enforcement foot race. This year, our Los Angeles Sheriff's Department did quite well. The department women's team took second place in their division and 34th overall out of 240 teams. Coincidentally, Deputy Phillip ran along with them and Paramount Station Detective Emily DeLielio. And the men from the Lakewood Station took third place in their division, which had 22 teams, and finished 33rd against 233 teams overall. Deputies Valenzuela, Sepulveda, and Galindo were the team captains. These are amazing achievements, and tonight we salute everyone for a job very well done. Would any of you like to say a few words?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, guys. We take pride in running for our cities and all like that, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys, without your guys' support. So thank you, and we appreciate this recognition, and that's it. You know,
Are you tired?
Yeah, no, we run hard every day, you know, just to represent our station and our city. So just know that it keeps us physically fit, and it's very motivating and inspirational when we have the city behind us and the mayor and everyone here at the city of Paramount. Public Safety Director Maggie has always supported us. Our Lieutenant Morales always pushes us to run hard and all like that, and always supports us. So, and the good people of the city of Paramount always represents us and very supportive. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna go there.
Thank you.
Council on top step, deputies, the low step. Yes. So, right there, and then. You see everybody? Does it work?
Three, two, one. One more. All right,
I think there was actually 9 deputies out of, our substation that participated, correct? Okay. Okay, now would Barbara Croson and Doro Sanchez from the Paramount Chamber of Commerce please join us? Barbara is Executive Director and Dora is Member Services Director. Last month, our state senator, Lina Gonzalez, recognized the chamber as Senate District 33 Women of Distinction honoree. This is the only woman-led chamber in the 33rd District, which covers all or parts of 14 cities. The award was part of Women's History Month and celebrate the amazing women who make history. Tonight, we congratulate Barbara and Dora and thank them for all they do in our community. Would either of you like to say a few words?
No.
Come on, Barbara.
I talk all day long. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. But I consider this just a complete honor to be able to serve this community in this way. And I was sharing with you earlier that this is my ministry to Paramount, is being able to serve the business community and connect businesses to residents, businesses with the city. So, I mean, I love what I do. So, thank you.
Okay, would Andrea Aguilar Nuno and Kelly Anderson please come up and join us? Tonight we are congratulating Alondra and Jackson Middle Schools in Paramount Unified for being redesignated as schools to watch. Andrea is principal at Alondra and Kelly is principal of Jackson. The Schools to Watch program is sponsored by the California Department of Education and California League of Educators. Those recognized are high-performing middle schools that demonstrate academic excellence, social equity, and responsiveness to the needs of young adolescents. In the entire state, there are only 186 schools to watch, so it is quite an honor. We are so pleased with the advances PUSD has made over the years. Cities and school districts do not always have good relationships. So the fact that we have a close partnership with Paramount Unified is a great thing for the community. You'd like to say a few words?
On behalf of Alondra School, thank you for the recognition. We continue to work hard, and as first-year principal at Alondra Middle School, we will continue to work hard and strive for excellence, and thank you for this recognition. Thank you. And as a former alumni, I take pride in going to work every day with pride and pleasure, and I continue to work hard for our city. Thank you.
All right, and on behalf of, Leona Jackson School, thank you. Thank you to the city. It's so great to work with you guys, and I just want to echo what you said. The relationship between the city and the district is something unique that, I think we all value so much, and I hope we continue just to make strides in the right direction and continue to work hard for our kids. So thank you so much to everybody involved, and I appreciate you guys having us here tonight. So thank you.
Okay, would Hollydale school teachers Alicia Ledesma and Christine Bakers and students Paul Castillo, Noah Edwards, Raymond John Estrada, Leonardo Herrera, Ruben Hoya, and Jessica Ortega please come up? Let me hear from the school. Alicia and Christine are the MESA program advisors, and the students are all members of the MESA program. Last summer, MIT, working with the School of Engineering at Cal State Long Beach, held a competition called Zero Robotics. This invited middle school students from across the country to test their coding skills. This is across the country. Their coding language would be uploaded to the International Space Station to control a robotic satellite. The team from Hollydale School's MESA program wrote, tested, and refined their code. Each team uploaded their code to the astronauts on the station who judged them on accuracy in the zero gravity of space. The Hollydale code worked perfectly. Yeah, and our Paramount Unified students, yes, won the competition. This is an amazing achievement. We are so proud of you for representing our city so well. Would any of you like to say a few words? Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
I just want to thank my teachers, Miss Ledesma and Miss Bakers. They brought me into the program, and they really just pushed me to be better, and I wouldn't be here without them.
Yes, absolutely.
So I've known these wonderful gentlemen since sixth grade. So I've had them for sixth, seventh, and eighth. And parents, you did a wonderful job. They're amazing. And I know for a fact that this is the first of many awards, recognitions, and ceremonies in your futures. You boys are an inspiration. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to come up this way.
They're engineers.
You got some paparazzi there, so hang on. You're good. Any more?
Anybody else?
Oh,
Wait, we have one more.
thank you for the reminder. Just wanted to actually let everybody know too, for those of you that aren't aware, we do have photos that will be uploaded to the city's website under our Smug Mug account. So you can look for it under our website.
Okay, will Nancy Taylor please come up? Nancy is a library assistant for our Paramount branch. This is National Library Week, April 23rd through the 29th. This year's theme is There's More to the Story. Libraries, of course, are full of stories from picture books to large print, audiobooks to ebooks, and much more. They also offer technology, media, programs, and classes. They are truly multifaceted resources. Our branch, of course, is going through a major renovation, and we can't wait until it reopens. Until then, until our library reopens, you can always go to our little free libraries throughout the city where you can take a book, leave a book. For more information on our little libraries, you can visit our city website or any of our social media platforms. Nancy, would you like to say a few words?
It's an honor to be here today representing the Paramount Library. On behalf of my community library manager, Andrea Crow, and our children's librarian, Jackie Ramirez. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm glad to accept this proclamation, and really looking forward to our new library. Thank you.
We all can't wait to see that.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Okay. Would Alma and Manuel San Miguel please join us? April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, such an important recognition. This is time to focus on the importance of families and communities coming together to prevent abuse and neglect, which impacts all levels of society. In light of this, we are recognizing the work done by Hope for Healing. They offer therapy services to Paramount residents to assist with recovery from past trauma. Alma is the founder and CEO, and Manuel is Chief Financial Officer. Would one of you like to say a few words?
My wife would.
Well, we just want to thank you. We have been truly privileged to be here in Paramount now as Hope for Healing Counseling for over 12 years. And so we're happy to do the work that we get to do, trauma work, which of course is not something that we don't know about. We've all been impacted by trauma as human beings. And we have the privilege of facilitating the process of healing for our clients. So it's an awesome job.
Okay. Would Samantha Salmeron join us, please? April is also Alcohol Awareness Month, which educates about the dangers of alcoholism and related issues. These are major problems that claim 90,000 American lives every year. Here are some things you can do to observe this month. Spend 72 hours without alcohol. Teach your children about alcohol misuse and help them build coping skills. Throw alcohol-free, clean and healthy parties for adults. Tonight, we recognize Little House, a residential treatment center for local women that provides a safe, supportive environment. Samantha is our executive director. Would you like to say a few words?
Absolutely. Tonight, I'd just like to thank the council for your longstanding support of Little House in our fight against the war on alcohol and drug addiction. And I would also just like to take this time to plug just a little bit. If any of the agencies here or any individual here is any interest in overdose awareness training and Narcan distribution program, we would love to help you potentially save a life. Please reach out to us either at the website, www.littlehouseinc.org, or call us and visit us. As anyone who's been paying attention knows, overdose is a serious issue, and LA County is in the top 10 of our country. So please reach out, help save a life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the work you do. You know, it's personal to me. Okay, would Alicia Gwen of the Fair Housing Foundation come up, please? This month marks the 55th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act, the landmark law passed April 11, 1968. It prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, disability, and familial status. April is celebrated as Fair Housing Month throughout the United States. In Paramount, we firmly support these laws. We also thank the Fair Housing Foundation for the services it provides to Paramount renters and landlords. To learn about these and their virtual Fair Housing celebration on April 27th, please visit fhfca.org or call 800-446-3247. Alicia is the Foundation's outreach coordinator. Would you like to share some thoughts with us?
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having us here today. My name is Alicia Nguyen, and I'm with the Fair Housing Foundations. Thank you so much for this opportunity to show our appreciation to the city and for joining us to celebrate April as Fair Housing Month. Please consider joining us this Thursday via Zoom. It's only an hour and a half, and we have celebrations, meeting our teams, winning cool prizes for the raffle. So all the information is on our website, and as always, we are proud to represent the city of Paramount as its fair housing provider, and we're looking forward to another year of working together. Thank you so much. Thank you.
National Arbor Day, a celebration of the beauty and benefits of trees, is always on the last Friday of April. This year, the 28th of April. The Arbor Day Foundation has named Paramount a Tree City USA for the last 4 years. We have thousands of trees throughout town, more than 8,000 in our public spaces, about 1,800 trees per square mile. We continue to plant new ones whenever we can and gave away 100 fruit trees to residents at our eco-friendly fair this month. As usual, we will send our proclamation for Arbor Day to the Arbor Day Foundation. Tonight, we are saying goodbye to a longtime city employee. Would Joe Galas please come up? Okay. So Joe was hired in 1990 as a maintenance worker and has been part of our public works family ever since. And he is now retiring. So over these 32 years, he has been in both the roads and landscape divisions that have worked to ensure that the city always looks its best. We want to thank him for that and wish him luck in his retirement. Now, the five of us are actually going to take our seats, but we have a short video about our Pitch in Paramount neighborhood cleanup program that we'd like everybody to see.
This is the Pitch in Paramount program. We do this quarterly, so 4 times a year. We go into neighborhoods and try to beautify them. As you can see, we have a new wall mural up. We have an opportunity for residents to get rid of debris and trash on their property. We're putting up a new fence, just really an effort to beautify the neighborhood, going to neighborhoods on a micro level, 3 or 4 blocks at a time, keeping Paramount at a very high level of quality of life.
This is a program that actually has a collaboration of our Public Works Department, our Public Safety Department, and a lot of nonprofits from other cities that come together and actually revive a community that comes from gardening to painting to picking up trash. I think that the residents feel that Paramount just wants to take care of them and ensure that they're not only feeling safe in their neighborhood, but that their neighborhood looks good as well. You try to find those different programs that make community members want to be a part of something. And as you walk down the streets again and you're seeing residents come out and be a part of this program, it shows this unity.
It's a blessing to get up in the morning and to see the community come out and get involved. We have Familia. It's not only just the nonprofits, the JROTC, it's not just the churches, but it's the community. And we get all excited about coming out and helping each other and helping our neighbor and trying to beautify our city.
I was shocked at how many people were here this morning when I drove up. You know, we got here at 7:30 and there was already at least 100 people I had to count. When you get this many people together and then slowly the residents are starting to come out and they're starting to work on their yard, people get inspired and they see people cleaning up their communities and they want to get involved in it. It's very important to give back. Everybody should be doing it. It's so easy to take, but when you give back, you feel so much better. Everybody's having fun. We're working hard, but we're all having fun.
It's also a way to get together community organizations such as churches, such as the civic clubs, and the schools together to work in terms of beautifying the neighborhood, it also just makes a big difference in the safety of the people who live here. We have volunteers who come every project that we have. We get a great turnout from Paramount High School, both from the JROTC and other school groups on campus. We also have a great turnout from local people in the community, but we could use more. We can always use more volunteers for all of our events.
It's also teaching the kids to understand the value of this is their city and to take care of it, and also help around the city and help the elderly clean up their yard, take out the trash. It's all part of the program where we have community service support learning projects. The city gives a lot to the public, so it really does mean a lot. And then there's a lot of things that they actually learn, as well as helping out the city, mentorship, leadership, communications, all these skills, which is also part of the program of JROTC.
It's a blessing to be out here and helping out others. People need the smile, the happiness that we bring, and I'm here for that.
It means building strength, it means building a bond between neighbors, the city, our police forces out here, our sheriff deputies, everyone coming together for a purpose, and the purpose is to beautify the neighborhood.
I think this is very unique for the city to bring out churches and schools and JROTC and a bunch of volunteers and just collaborate. It makes us feel like we're part of this. Even though I live on the other side of Paramount, I can walk through this neighborhood right now and start talking to residents, and they're just super thankful that we're taking the time out of our Saturday morning just to come to be a part of this. Come volunteer. This is a great opportunity to get to know your neighbors and to see what the city of Paramount's doing.
If I run to the grocery store or if I run just into the park, you see those residents, they'll come up to you and say, thank you, Señora Vilma, for coming out and helping us and talking to us and asking us what are some other needs in the city? What else can we do for you? And I hope everyone in the city of Paramount comes and participates in one of these programs that we have, and we come out to their neighborhood just to beautify their neighborhood.
That was great. So that brings us to the end of tonight's public presentations. Thank you so much to everyone that was here. We appreciate everything that you do that helps make Paramount a great city. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and.
Did you want to pause for a minute, maybe?
Okay, John, is there any city council public comment updates, please?
No, ma'am, no updates from the last meeting.
Any, how about any public comments for tonight's meeting? Speaker cards, emails?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do have one speaker card. Ms. Yesenia Cuarenta from the Paramount Kiwanis would like to address the council.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yesenia Maria Cuarenta, and I'm here on behalf of the Paramount Kiwanis. And our mission is to ensure that every child in our community knows that we're here to support them so that they know that they belong and they can thrive. So on behalf of the organization, we'd like to present a certificate of appreciation to Mayor Vilma Cuellar Stallings for her service as the mayor of the community, for your dedication to the children and families of Paramount. And we're also here to present a certificate of appreciation to Mayor Isabel Aguayo as well for your dedication to the children and families of Paramount. I also want to take this time to let the community know that some of the projects we're working on now, one is we were awarded a grant by Supervisor Janice Hahn, and our goal is to use those funds to charter the Kiwanis Club at Odyssey STEM Academy. And the rest of the money, we want to sponsor children of the community to get access to free swimming lessons. We're also hoping that we can use some of that money to buy them outfits so they can go swimming, maybe some equipment, so that's our goal. We're also going to be hosting the first ever book walk. Thanks to the city for allowing us access to a facility. We're excited about that. We're hoping the community can calendar the date. The book walk is going to be July 29 from 11 to 3. It's going to be free. We're going to have awesome authors there. We want the community to come out, meet the authors. If your favorite author comes to Paramount, come and hear them read. And again, thank you, Mayor Isabel Aguayo and former Mayor Vilma Cuellar Stallings for your service. Thank you. So we're here.
Thank you so much.
No more speaker cards.
Okay. Okay, can we please get a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, Heidi, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos? Yes. Councilmember Cuellar Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Our first order of business was an oral report by the Paramount Rotary Club. I don't
believe the representative is in the audience tonight, Madam Mayor, so if we can continue that item to the next meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Kavanaugh, do they need to? Motion.
Can I please get a motion?
Moved. Second.
Heidi, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 16. That is also plan to prevent and service neighbors experiencing homelessness. Is there a report, John?
Yes, Madam Mayor, there is. We will have a presentation tonight from the homeless services organization Kingdom Causes. They're here to provide us with an overview of our updated homelessness plan. We originally adopted this plan 5 years ago, back in 2018. So the plan before you tonight is a revision of that and includes some new strategies that we have aimed at addressing homelessness for us to consider for over the next 5 years. So again, with us tonight is Ms. Christina Berkey from the Executive Director for Kingdom Causes. Hi, Christina.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. It is a complete pleasure to be here tonight and to have worked with you guys over the last couple of months. And what a fun meeting to come to. It's really cool to start with all those celebrations. We had quite a few friends that were actually up here being celebrated. So I'm just here to give a brief overview of the plan and what went into that process. The background and the methodology approach that we took is you already had a great plan. COVID hit. And so all bets are off during that. And so what we did is we made sure we had time to interview a majority of you as a council, your city manager, your key staff. We were able to connect with Paramount Unified School District, both an elected official and some staff there as well. We reached out to 5 local nonprofits and service providers, including the faith community. We interviewed 2 Paramount neighbors with lived experience. And let me define that for you. That means that they were experiencing homelessness or have experienced homelessness here in Paramount. Very important voices that we want to take into consideration. We did 2 community listening sessions that were way better attended than we were anticipating compared to prior experiences in other cities. We had 45 residents come out, and it was quite a lively discussion in a good way. And we were able to survey 72 of your neighbors at the Paramount Public Safety Fair back in the fall. So all of those things we took into consideration, in addition to looking at policy and funding. Homelessness is really complicated and a very hot button political issue, as you know, and especially in Los Angeles County. So we wanted to make sure we take into consideration the political landscape and what the funding opportunities might be, even though that is rapidly changing, as many of you know. We were able to interview the Gateway City's COG staff, which is right here in your backyard, LASA, as well as some local foundations that have a history of funding initiatives to address homelessness and housing insecurity. We reviewed your current plans. We took a look at the LA County Housing Initiative, the Gateway City's COG plans, your housing element, which just got approved, I believe last year, and then the home ARP allocation plan. And then we also, the approach that Kingdom Causes Bellflower takes is asset-based community development, which basically means, when we're wanting to make a community better, the knee-jerk reaction is to look at what's wrong and to say, what do we need? But our approach is, let's pause and actually inventory what are all the great resources that you already have here, so that we're not reinventing the wheel, and so that we're building collaborations, which reinforces the culture that you guys already have here as a community, but it also saves resources. So we'll get into that asset map a little bit later. Some of the findings that we noticed throughout these interviews and research, the policy research that we did, was that there was a notable sense of openness, curiosity, and compassion from most of the stakeholders and residents that we interviewed. Now, I want to caveat this. It wasn't just blind compassion of sure, let's do all the things. It was smart compassion of what's the appropriate scale of these things. How do we make sure this is sustainable? How do we make sure we're not causing more harm by helping? And so it was a wise sense of compassion and curiosity that was very notable, specific to the city of Paramount. We also learned that there was a desire from a majority of the stakeholders to expand existing services and to build or rethink appropriately scaled physical resources within the city limits. We'll talk about the built environment that you guys already have here in a minute, but I want to emphasize appropriately scaled. And then the last thing was the willingness of residents to get more involved in the Helping Hands of Paramount, which is an awesome group that you guys started a couple years ago. The second thing that what stuck out into our findings was the geographical challenges that you have. You guys are a built-out community. You guys are very densely populated. You don't have a lot of vacant land that you get to play with, right? You're also in a unique position geographically where you're part of LA County breaks things up into service provider areas. You guys are in service provider area 6, but a lot of your partnerships and connections are with your neighboring cities, which are in SPA 7. And so sometimes that means you guys have slightly different resources and contacts than some of the cities that you collaborate with often. So these are things that we wanted to note for you. The next thing was that there was almost everybody we talked to, staff down to neighbor, your residents, your business owners, and your actual neighbors experiencing homelessness, all talked about the helpful presence of your public safety department and the staff, and there's specific staff that they named multiple times. That it is notable that they were able to build such trust and rapport with very diverse stakeholders that usually don't get along or have favorable opinions of the same people. So that was notable. And there's also a need to reinforce that. You guys got something good here. So how do you reinforce and sustain and grow that? The next thing was, mental health concerns, and I'm glad that you guys brought up some great partners that are doing really great work to address trauma and mental health concerns. That was something that came up almost right away. One of the questions we asked is, what do you think are some of the causes of homelessness specifically in Paramount? The people that you know, what's going on? And mental health came up over and over again. And I'd like to say we have a clear answer coming from this, but mental health is a very broad topic, but it does interact a lot with the issue of homelessness. And so that came up a lot, but working on specific housing or supportive services solutions that were at an appropriate scale for Paramount to take on alone were very difficult to find. Ongoing demand for prevention assistance, that was something that you guys have always been a part of, but it came up multiple times in those stakeholder interviews of, we want to help our neighbors who are out on the streets get into permanent housing, but we also want to prevent any more people from falling into homelessness. And so knowing that rents are rising, we have an unstable economy, shortage of affordable units, these are all things that continue to come into play. And also Paramount Unified reported and worked with us to provide a list of the number of families and students that are either experiencing homelessness, meaning that they're in their car, or they're on the streets, and also students that are staying in motels or maybe couch surfing, right? So there's an alarming number there. So those were some of the findings, and you'll see those align with some of the recommendations and strategies that we have at the end of this presentation. But I did want to just take a minute to look at the asset map. Even sitting in here and learning about some of the other organizations that are doing good work, I think you could continue to build this out. You have a lot of great resources and assets already here in Paramount. So make sure as you're working this plan forward that you take them into consideration as partners and do some dreaming together to see what you can do as a partnership to address providing housing and preventing homelessness. So let me talk about that. Okay, so the other part that we did was taking a look at the last plan that you did, 2018, right? Life changed in 2020, but your city still made quite a bit of progress on the goals that you guys agreed to in 2018. Some of those key things were expanding new partnerships. So you brought on Family Promise of the South Bay to serve your families experiencing homelessness. You had a safe storage program. You were able to work with Bell Shelter, Salvation Army, to get actual shelter beds. So when somebody in Paramount was ready to get off the streets, they had a bed to go to, which is hard to find. You partnered with CityNet to do a count, and you continue to partner with LASA. Your community engagement, the Helping Hands of Paramount Working Group, where it looks like you guys had a great start pre-pandemic, and then when all the gathering restrictions came on, that slowed a little bit, but we hear that you guys are continuing this, and that was just something we wanted to call out as progress from that plan. And lastly, there is a dedicated page of information on the city website, so it's very helpful. You could click around and find a lot of information. You guys do a great job being transparent with the resources and the work that you are doing as a city. And then the last thing was collaboration amongst city departments in the school district, which we heard earlier tonight. I'm going to, for the sake of time, skip to this next one. There are bigger picture policy discussions. Paramount is not in a silo. You're in the gateway cities. We're tucked right here in Southeast LA County amongst a lot of other small cities. And so as you look at issues of housing and mental health and affordable housing, like these have to be more regional discussions. One of the things that we recommend you pay attention to is some of the state discussions specific to mental health supportive housing and street outreach services. COVID with the tenant protections expiring and how that will impact families and households that are at risk of homelessness. The rapidly changing and political nature of homelessness, and the funding opportunities that are going to come online in the next little bit related to this. So this is the juicy part of the, juicy probably isn't the right word, but the fun part of the presentation, which is, well, what do you do? What are the recommendations? So we have 4 categories. The first 2 are things that you guys are already doing, so the goals are more around expanding those. The second 2 have a little bit of the outside of the box thinking and recommendations there. So with the strategies around homeless prevention, our recommendation is that you expand what you have already done. You guys do that well, both by funding that internally and by finding external partnerships that could leverage outside dollars on behalf of Paramount residents. Increasing the awareness of those programs, which I believe is probably going to happen through your ad hoc committee. You guys you have your finger on the pulse of those resources, so continuing to ensure that the public is aware of those. And the last thing is collaborating with local funders who are supporting senior homelessness prevention. That was a topic that came up a lot in our interviews, is the concern for senior citizens who are on fixed income. You know, they're making maybe $900, $1,000 a month, and the rental market is bypassing them. And so if they don't have a pension or a family member to support them, we're seeing a lot of people become homeless, and that just shouldn't be. And so the good news is there are United Way of Greater Los Angeles, Kaiser Permanente, there are funders who are trying to get resources to this area of the county to help with that. So our recommendation is continuing to make those connections. Again, with community education and engagement, this is something you guys have done well, and so our recommendation is that you continue to prioritize the growth of Helping Hands of Paramount Resident Working Group. doing a strategic planning session with the residents themselves to see the direction that they want to go. I think there's a lot of cool opportunities here. The next area is there's one more in that area. That is increasing the accountability and awareness of those who are already contracted. And we know that you guys are already doing this where they come and do the reports. So our recommendation is that you get a couple more of them doing those on a regular basis, because it holds them accountable, but it also keeps you up to date on the rapidly changing landscape of homeless services. And then it is also convening Paramount landlords annually to provide updates and local incentives. You have Fair Housing Foundation here earlier tonight. They already offer those meetings here, so our recommendation is tag teaming on one of those to really listen to the landlords and see what it will take to help them welcome more of our neighbors experiencing homelessness to be their tenants. So the next strategy is supportive services for neighbors experiencing homelessness. Our first recommendation in that category is reinforcing and expanding the innovative work being done by the Public Safety Department staff by adding dedicated housing navigation staff and partnered outreach support. There's already so much there. The whole idea with these bullet points is adding that reinforcement so that you could really scale it. Also paying attention to formalizing those internal procedures and ensuring that anybody you bring on really embodies the values that you guys are known for in that department and in this city. The next is something that came up in a prior plan, and that was this idea of how do we have an access center? So we have all these resources, but sometimes we don't know where to go specifically. They're kind of scattered all over the place. And that was something that was in the 2018 plan, but with COVID, anything like that was very hard to get off the ground. It came up again almost every community listening session, in the surveys, this desire to have a brick and mortar resource center, not necessarily a shelter, but a place where people can go to get those resources. But you guys don't have a lot of land. So what we recommend is that you convert an underutilized facility that's already owned by a local government or a civic organization as a resource center or an access center for those residents who are in need of housing and experiencing housing insecurity. So what that looks like is next steps are meeting with the leaders of those institutions to explore those conversations, because it has to be a true partnership. And using the asset map, if you are able to get that off the ground, to see if you could leverage low or free cost resources to be there. The next one is maintaining and considering expanding the investments in your family service providers that are partnered with Paramount Unified School District to prevent those families and students from becoming homeless, or quickly connect them with resources so they could get off the streets. And also maintaining the contract with Salvation Army Bell Shelter for your reserved emergency shelter beds until a contract with the more proximate shelter is available. The last thing is, as mental health issues came up as areas of concern and wanting to see resources built, an idea that we had after talking with staff and stakeholders was maybe you probably won't be able to build the state-of-the-art mental health housing here in Paramount. You don't have a lot of land for that. But you do have great local mental health providers, and if there's a way to incentivize them to have offices and more community center space in the city of Paramount, you might be able to get some more of those mental health resources out to your neighbors who are in need. So this is our last area of our recommendations, and this is around the concept of a local multi-city housing solution. And it's probably the most complicated because it requires a formal collaboration with neighboring cities, and every city has their own culture issues, budget, land issues, name it. But because we are in a corner of the county that has so many similarly sized cities that don't have an extra land, don't have all the resources in the world, working together and finding that give and take between cities so that we could get the things that each community really feels that they need, that maybe not cities can't build A through Z of all the things that they want, but can they build A and the neighboring city build concept B? So our recommendation is that you develop a common vision and agreeable terms with 2 bordering cities, such as Bellflower, Downey, or Lakewood, that require both funding investment paired with a commitment to build brick and mortar resources within each city's limits. And that's not easy, and I know, but I do think it's a wise use of resources if you are able to get such a thing off the ground. Contingent upon the success of that type of partnership formalized between cities is identifying existing residential or commercial properties that within the city of Paramount that would be ideal for redeveloping as a small youth or family shelter in Paramount, in which the priority would be given to Paramount residents. Now, I want to talk about shelter. That was a hot button issue. And so the emphasis on this is that it doesn't have to be the old version of a shelter, which is a huge warehouse that there's a ton of people coming in. There are models that fit very nicely into the landscape and the environment of a small neighborhood where you wouldn't even know that there is a shelter. And so that is the type of thing that we are recommending looking into. And then negotiating a bed exchange deal with a nearby shelter for single adults and couples. So if that's not something Paramount can build here, what does it look like to get that partnership with a neighboring city that does have that? And then the final piece would be finding a third partner city to build that interim or permanent housing that we are definitely needing in LA County, and especially in this part of the county, that would be specialized for youth, family, or for neighbors with mental health concerns. So it has been a joy and a pleasure getting to know your city and getting to hear the thoughts, and we look forward to continuing to support and be a part of what is next for you as you fulfill this plan to prevent and to service neighbors experiencing homelessness and housing insecurity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or any comments?
I would just like to say thank you so much for all of your expertise during the meetings and your staff's expertise and, you know, the great heart that you have for this. And also I know that you're moving on to other things, so I wish you well in your new adventures.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so it was just a report, so we don't need a motion for this one. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and up next is a 6-month review of the City Council permit for live entertainment karaoke at Kate's Corner at 8400 Alondra Boulevard. Can we please get a report?
Yes, Madam Mayor. You may recall that last year the City Council approved a live entertainment permit for Kate's Corner. The live entertainment permit was for karaoke, and one of the conditions of that permit is for the City Council to conduct a 6-month review. So that's what we're doing tonight, and I'll now turn it over to our Public Safety Director, Ms. Maggie Matson, who will walk you through the item. Maggie?
Thank you, John. Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. As John mentioned, this item is a 6-month review of a live entertainment permit for Kate's Corner. As a form of background, Kate's Corner is located at 8400 Alondra Boulevard. Kate's Corner has a Type 41 ABC license, which allows for the sale of beer and wine for on-site consumption. The live entertainment permit was approved by the City Council on September 6, 2022, and this is a 6-month compliance review. Kate's Corner is approved to conduct karaoke on Saturdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and on Mondays from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. The entertainment is based on a self-service and hosted format. With regards to the law enforcement activity, the establishment had 2 calls for service during the 6-month period. The 2 calls were general calls for service not related to the live entertainment component. As part of the 6-month review, Public Safety and LASD personnel conducted a walkthrough and verified that the establishment has an appropriate video surveillance system in place. Staff verified that the business has maintained a valid ABC license and that there are no violations documented. The establishment has complied with and adhered to all the conditions of approval, and there are no law enforcement or community concerns regarding the live entertainment permit at Kate's Corner. With that, it is recommended that the City Council receive and file the report with the stipulation that staff conduct an annual review. And this item does align with strategic outcome number 1, which is safe community. This concludes my report. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
I move the item.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Heidi, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, now we have an award of contract for playground replacement at Paramount Park, All-American Park, and Progress Park. Is there a report, John?
Yes, there is, Madam Mayor. You're absolutely right. We're getting new children's playground equipment for 3 of our parks, and we're asking for your approval. And this project is part of the current fiscal year budget. However, as you're about to hear, the equipment will not be installed until next fiscal year. So with that, I'll turn it over to one of our management analysts, Ms. Rebecca Bojorquez, who will walk you through that. And Rebecca?
Members of the City Council. Before you tonight, as John mentioned, is an award of contract for the playground replacement at Paramount Park, All-American Park, and Progress Park, City project numbers 9254, 9350, and 9351. So for some background, as part of the fiscal year 21-22 CIP budget, the Paramount Park Playground Replacement project was approved. As you can see on the left-hand side, the current playground was installed over 20 years ago with grant funds, but the equipment has aged, making it very difficult to maintain and has really exceeded its useful life. Unfortunately, staff was unable to complete the project last fiscal year due to significant delays caused by COVID, and as such, the project was carried over into this fiscal year as part of the approval budget for the 22-23 budget. In the current fiscal year, the All-American Park project replacement, which is in the center, and the Progress Park playground replacement project to the right was approved. Similar to the Paramount Park playground, the All-American Park playground and Progress Park playground are well over 20 years old, and similarly, because of their age, are becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. The city issued a request for proposal for professional playground equipment designs and installation on December 29th, 2022. Before the RFPs were due, staff conducted a site walkthrough of the 3 current playgrounds so vendors could see the space and aesthetic of each park. The RFPs were due on February 6th, 2023, and the city received 5 proposals. Staff reviewed each proposal and selected Pacific Place Systems as their proposal most aligned with the city's vision was the lowest cost proposal at $638,945, and their proposal added the desired and appropriate play elements. Knowing that the Paramount Park Playground project is funded through the city's Measure A funds, and there are currently unallocated Measure A funds available, staff asked Pacific Place Systems to revise their proposal for Paramount Park. As you'll see in an upcoming slide, the original concept for Paramount Park did not seem to fit the city's namesake park. Staff asked that Pacific Play make more use of the space and increase the size of the playground itself. The revised proposal to the Paramount Park Playground saw an increase of the budget of $116,000 of the original budgeted amount. The projected timeline for completion is 30 weeks after the signed agreement, which places completion tentatively in November 23. Here is a video rendering of the All-American Park Playground replacement. This playground has both an area for 2 to 5-year-olds and 5 to 12-year-olds. It has an ADA accessible ramp, as well as an ADA inclusive swing set. The playground has integrated ground play elements, connected shade structures, multiple slides and climbing apparatuses, a bucket spinner, and a modern teeter-totter. There is currently greenfield equipment surrounding the playground. The equipment will be temporarily removed for the installation of the playground and then reinstalled once the playground is complete. We'll let the video finish so you can see it. Here is a still image of the All-American Park Playground. The budgeted amount for the playground is $250,000. The proposed budget is $280,000, which created an increase of $30,000. As you'll see with the Progress Park Playground, there is a savings with Progress Park, so staff will be realigning budget to account for the increase at All-American Park and the savings at Progress Park. Now here is a 3D rendering of the Progress Park Playground. This particular playground is for ages 2 to 5 years old, as there is already a 5 through 12 playground available at Progress Park towards the back of the park near the basketball courts. This playground is also ADA accessible with a ramp and integrated ground play elements. It has connected shade structures, climbing and hanging features, a small merry-go-round, and a parent-child swing set. The proposed playground will occupy the same space as the current playground. Here is a still image of the Progress Park Playground. The budget amount for this playground is $200,000. The proposed budget is $170,000, and staff will realign the budget to account for the increase at All-American Park, therefore creating no impact to the general fund. This is the original proposal for Paramount Park. Although this is an upgrade from what is currently there, staff felt it did not capture the full available space and lacked the wow factor for the city's namesake park. The budget amount for the Paramount Park Playground is $200,000, and the original proposal came in under budget at $195,000. Knowing that there are available unallocated Measure A funds, staff asked Pacific Play for a revision. And here is that revision. This playground staff felt had that wow factor. This particular playground is for 5 through 12 years old. It's ADA accessible with more integrated play elements, as well as a larger swing set with partner swings and individual swings. There are more slides in the previous proposal, as well as an additional third level with connected shade structures and shade sails. It has a spinner for children, and as well as more climbing and hanging features, and really does make use of that larger space there at the park. The revised proposal for Paramount Park is $316,000, which is about 1/3 more than the allocated amount. The large increase can be seen again by the additional tower, the third level, and the larger swing set area. So now to the fiscal impact. Currently, the allocated budget for all three projects is $650,000. With the revision to Paramount Park, it has revised the total budget to $766,000. As the table shows, the increase to the All-American Park project is considered essentially a wash because of the savings with the Progress Park project, creating no impact to the general fund. To cover the increase at Paramount Park, staff is requesting an additional $116,000 of unallocated Measure A funds. The total contract award for Pacific Place Systems is $749,825. You'll notice that there is a $16,000 difference between the contracted amount and the proposed amount. The $16,000 difference is attributed to the actual cost of Progress Park. The Progress Park Playground cost is slightly under than the proposed amount, which is a $16,000 savings. Staff is requesting leaving that $16,000 in the Progress Park budget should there be any unforeseen expenses that arise as the project continues. So with that, it is recommended that the City Council, 1, appropriate an additional $116,000 of available Measure A funds to the Paramount Park Playground Replacement, City Project number 9254, and 2, award the contract for the playground replacement at Paramount Park, All-American Park, and Progress Park to Pacific Place Systems Incorporated in the amount of $749,825, and authorize the mayor or her designee to execute the agreement. And that concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm kind of drawing.
oh my God, I love it. I mean, I wish I was a little kid again. It's just, I mean, my God. I love that you had the interaction for the babies. You could put the babies in the swing, and you could also entertain your toddler if you have a toddler. But my favorite, well, all of them are my favorite, but the one at P Park with the tube, it reminds me when we had the grand opening of the swimming pool and myself going down the tube. But that was a ball. So I will be encouraging all my neighbors to go hang out at the parks. This is amazing, David. I love it. Thank you, Rebecca, for the report.
Thank you.
Only if I could be a child again.
Councilmember Lemons, you had a question or comment?
So is there a shorter time frame that happened for replacement for Spanny and Dills? I was just wondering how come they're not getting equipment. Is it because theirs is newer? What?
They are newer systems, and they have less problems than what we currently have with these three systems.
So when are they on the ticket to get new play equipment?
Next budget cycle.
Because I have spent a lot of time at Dills at the large play area at, let's see, that would be the north end. Yeah, it looks pretty run down to me.
The tree playground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should just explore that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that you and I had a conversation about play equipment, and that saying your eyes are bigger than your stomach, my eyes are bigger than our pocketbook. But good job with the budget that we had to work with.
You'll also notice something that you told me years ago was about getting the shade structures on there.
Yes, exactly.
Remember that conversation?
So the colors are really pretty. I still would have loved to have seen that big long bridge that we talked about with those hopping paths, but I guess.
So do Councilmember Quare Stallings want to be the kid, or Councilmember?
Good point.
Okay, Councilmember Vice Mayor Delgadillo, you had a comment?
I was the first one down the tube at the swimming pool. Let's not forget that.
That's cute. I have a comment. I think, and I really feel that the playgrounds are beautiful, colorful, eye-catching, and the children are really going to enjoy whatever playground they're given, because in my day, I used to slide down a stainless steel slide, and used to burn the yayas out of you. But, I really appreciate what I see on the screen. Thank you, David and staff.
No yayas here.
Yeah, the yayas, man, burn.
I think we're kind of excited about the new equipment. So with that,
Is there a motion? needed? So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Heidi, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quare Stallings?
Yes, of course.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so now we have an agreement with Studio 111 to provide professional conceptual design services for the Paramount Park Community Center expansion and All-American Park Community Center development projects. Can we please get a report, John?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, we're dreaming big. This next item is an approval of an agreement, as you mentioned, that we'd like to hire a firm to provide us with conceptual designs for an expansion of our existing community center, and also for possibly a brand new community center at another park. Think of conceptual designs as a vision of what we'd like to see here. It's not a full set of construction plans. We're not quite there yet, but it's the first step. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Assistant Director of Community Services, Ms. Yesenia Guillen, and she will handle the item.
Thanks,
Yesenia?
John. I just told Dave he got the night off tonight. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. As John mentioned before you tonight, it's an approval to enter into an agreement with Studio 111 for conceptual design services. We really wanted to show you guys a timeline of what really takes the effort to go into a plan and really getting into anything that we actually enter here in the city. So the conceptual design is the first step in the project development process.
The conceptual designs are the attractive designs for what the buildings could look like. As identified in the timeline, the conceptual drawings for Paramount Park Community Center and proposed All-American Park Community Center will be done this fiscal year. The construction design plans will be part of our fiscal year 2023-24 budget. After the construction plans have been developed, the necessary funding need to be secured in order to construction to begin. The image on the left is an aerial shot of the Paramount Park Community Center. Currently, the building, as you know, functions as a senior center Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. is used for general programming, instructional classes, meeting spaces for our service clubs, various of different meetings that we actually offer to our community. On the weekends, Paramount Park Community Center is a rentable space for quinceañeras, weddings, birthday parties, baby showers, etc. So definitely a multi-use building. Staff has applied for grants in the past to expand and to renovate the community centers, and this is the largest undertaking. Staff applied twice under Prop 84 competitive grant cycles and twice under Prop 68 competitive grant cycles. With the Prop 84 application, we did want to mention it was a massive attempt to build a brand new building adjacent to the current center that will act as a dedicated senior center and separate from a rentable programmable space area. Then again, the Prop 68 applications asked for a large expansion and renovation of the existing space, similar to what we did in Prop 84. The Prop 68 applications were a large price tag and unfortunately unsuccessful. Now, ultimately, the goal for Paramount Park Community Center is to have a dedicated program space for our seniors. The large attempts to increase the space and renovate the building have not been successful. So now we are looking at making a smaller expansion of the building so that it can be a dedicated space for the seniors. This new space can be used for fitness classes and really a social space. They enjoy hanging out with us. They really just have a conversation with one another, and you guys have seen it when you guys visit. So we really want to create that. The expansion would be to expand the east wall so that it would actually extend closer to the shelter, if you see in the photo below you, towards the exercise equipment on the right side of it. Now, currently at All-American, the next conceptual design project. The design on the left is a maintenance building at the park. Currently, the building houses public restrooms and public works maintenance room. The entrance to both restrooms and maintenance room is accessible only off the street. The backside of the building is a large wall that faces the inside of the park. The goal here is that the building will become a new community center off the back wall facing the park. The building expansion will ideally take most of the space between the wall and the basketball court. Looking at the center photo and the photo on the right is to accommodate a new community center and its various uses, and the parking lot to the south of the building will have to expand as well, as you can see in the yellow somewhat circle. Currently, and this map shows there's 2 youth programming sites in the city, which are in blue. The first is Spain Park, home to the Learning Center, which operates as an after-school drop-in program, as well as a meeting space for the YAL program. The second is the Mariposa Center at Progress Park, which you will see in FY 2024 budget. This building will have expanded youth and teen programming. From the map, it makes sense to build a community center on the north end of the city to add more youth and teen programming, making All-American Park the perfect site. Studio 111 is familiar with the city of Paramount. They did conceptual design for Progress Plaza outdoor renovations. They also designed the downtown streetscape and the recent bus shelter renovations. They're a truly creative and adaptable to design firm that understands the city visions, making them easy to work with. Paramount Municipal Code allows the exception of professional technical services from the bidding requirements. However, agreements over $40,000 do require City Council approval. So before you tonight, we have a conceptual design agreement with Studio 111 for the total of $80,100. The conceptual design cost for Paramount Park expansion is $30,000 and includes expanding the current building to the east to create a dedicated senior space. The funding for this project was approved as part of the mid-year 22-23 budget. The All-American Park Community Center conceptual design cost is $50,100. This project is more since we're asking to build a community center on the east side of the existing building, as well as expanding the current parking lot. That funding for this project was also approved as part of the mid-year 2022-23 budget. So with that, it is recommended the City Council approve the agreement with Studio 111 in the amount of $80,100 for the conceptual design of Paramount Park Community Center expansion and All-American Park Community Center development project. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions? Okay.
The item. Second.
Roll call, Heidi?
Excited. Love it.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos?
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Definitely yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming to the end of business, the next is an authorization for emergency repairs of the Clearwater building. Can we please get a report?
Yes, you may, Madam Mayor. As you had just said, we had some emergency repair work that needed to be done at Clearwater. We need your authorization for this, and I'll turn it over to our Public Works Director, Ms. Adriana Figueroa, who will walk you through the item. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Sorry, let me get this going. The Clearwater building has experienced substantial interior damage resulting from water leaks given excess rain conditions that have occurred over the past few months. This has caused disruptions to the regular operations of our tenants, the Gateway Cities COC. The water leaks were not coming from the roof, but rather from multiple windows. There are several windows that are in immediate need of replacing, as well as some adjacent wood framing replacement and stucco repairs. This is a request for authorization of payment for the emergency repair of the windows, damaged wood framing, and stucco repairs at the Clearwater building. We were able to receive 2 informal quotes from contractors that have completed repairs in other public facilities. However, these total amounts were over the purchasing policy limits. Given the emergency nature of the need for repairs for the Clearwater building, the city's purchasing policy and the California Public Contract Code provide for exemptions from the standard bid process under emergency conditions. Section 21322 of the California Public Contract Code states that contracts may be let for work without advertising in cases of significant emergency, which can include when emergency repair or replacement is necessary to permit the continued operation or service of the agency, and or when the emergency work is necessary to avoid danger to life or property. Additionally, Section 21322 of the California Public Contract Code states that any action taken under these emergency guidelines must still be authorized by the City Council to approve a finding that emergency conditions necessitated these repairs. The project cost is estimated at $66,400. We're adding a contingency of $11,000 should other unexpected issues arise during these repairs, for a total estimated project cost of $77,400. I believe there was a typo in the agenda report, so it should be $11,000 for contingency. The total project was not included in the fiscal year 23 budget and will be reflected in our facilities maintenance and operations utilizing available general fund balance. So with that, it is recommended that the City Council, 1, approve a finding that emergency conditions necessitated these repairs. 2, appropriate an additional $77,400 from the available general fund balance, and authorize the payment for these emergency repairs at the Clearwater building to Coral Construction in the amount of $66,400. That concludes my presentation, but I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Adriana. Any questions or comments?
I'm moving.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, Heidi, please.
Councilmember Lemons?
Yes.
Councilmember Olmos? Councilmember Quer Stallings?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Yes.
Mayor Aguayo?
Yes. Okay, and we have nothing tonight for environmental sustainability. So we will move on to council member comments and committee reports. Council member Lemons, let's start with you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I attended the League of California Cities Legislative Conference in Sacramento, at which time I was able to attend 2 different workshops on homelessness. And as a member of the Homeless Ad Hoc Committee, I found them extremely informative and helpful for decisions that are going to be coming before us. As you saw, we had the plan explained to us tonight, and we have decisions ahead of us. So all of the expertise that was available at the conference was very helpful. Also, I attended my monthly SIACA meeting, and I wanted to share with you some information on upcoming events. So happening April 5th through the 29th is Spring On to Adopt, and you can get all dogs 30 pounds or more for $30 at the facility. And adoption includes spay, neutering, microchipping, first set of vaccinations, flea treatment, your license fees, and so on. So if you're looking for a dog, a larger one, not a lap dog, now's the time to go. Also through the Big Meow program, they're offering spade and neutering surgery for indoor or outdoor free roaming cats as long as you live within the SIACA service area. There is just a charge of $30 for the physical examination, but the spade and neuter surgery is free. Also includes the microchipping and vaccines and 1 month flea control. And I'm sorry, pre-surgery exam is $40. And they're accepting right now reservations for the surgery. So if you have a cat that's not spayed or neutered, do them a favor and get them down to SIACA and get it taken care of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Cuellar Stallings?
Oh, okay. I thought you're going to go back and forth. No. I also attended the League of California Cities Conference with my colleagues. We met with Senator Lena Gonzalez and voiced our concerns of some matters that we need funding with the cities of Linwood and the cities of Southgate, and also attended a few of the classes that they were offering, as Councilmember Lemons mentioned, on homelessness, and also one about an active shooter from the city of Riverside, and several others. Very informative, very vital information for us. And next, I attended the Eco-Friendly Fair. It was very successful. Brenda and I helped with a historical society booth, and we were able to make bird feeders out of peanut butter, ice cream cone, sugar cones, and we dipped them in, we spread peanut butter and then dipped them in Cheerios and then onto bird seeds. And the kids loved it. So anyway, it was very exciting. And all of them, we had over how many, council member, almost? Over 200, 240 cones, yes.
Yeah, we had a lot of peanut butter.
We had a lot of peanut butter, and I smell like peanut butter all day. But I love peanut butter. And next, I attended the transition for the mayors in the city of Cerritos for Mayor Boy. It was a beautiful event, and I was very honored to be there with my colleagues also. Attended the grand opening of a new facility at Rancho Los Amigos Hospital. This is a facility that really touched my heart. It's called the New Crisis Resident. Is for inmates and mental illness patients that are going to have a treatment program at the Southeast LA County area. We met with the team, Mayor Isabel and I attended. We were able to tour the facility. The facility provides urgent care for those inmates that are just being released, or if some of them are having mental illness, behavior crisis, and they teach them basic living skills. They're able to have a medical evaluation and psychological and so on, and also have housing referral. So this was very informative. I really enjoyed visiting this facility. And last, I attended the Chamber of Commerce. They hosted the Sisters of Tepic, which I was very involved for many, many years. And they're going to be back in action, helping out our city and being involved in the community. And also heard that they are also going to be honoring one of our former friends that was very involved, Linda Garcia, and have a scholarship fund. I believe they're going to have an event at the Elks. I think it's May 6th. But we can, if you need information, you can email me or give me a call, and I'll make sure that I give you the correct information. And also, Frank Abraza, who's been the president of this organization for many, many years, about 15 years. Known him since he was a young boy. But anyway, he'll be stepping down, and they'll be selecting a new president. And thank you, Frank, for all your dedication, all what you've done for this community. I really appreciate it. And good luck to you. And I know you said you still have a few more years to work for Paramount Unified School District, but nothing to the best. God bless you. And that's all I have tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Olmos?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also attended the Cal Cities Conference. The message that I'm bringing back to you guys is it's all about real local control. Just like Councilmember Quer Stallings had stated, we met with Senator Lena Gonzalez and Anthony Rendon, and I actually walked in there with our homeless plan. And the ask was that we want $3 billion per year in the California budget to ensure that it comes back to local cities to help with homelessness. We know that we're not getting the funding like we need to, so there was about 100 local officials that were actually standing in front of the Capitol with signs that said local control, asking for this to be added to the budget. So it's a big push, it's a big conversation, and I think it just kind of coincides with what we heard today. We need help, we need funding to put this plan into place. All of our cities need to take their action and do what we need to do. We all need to help each other, but we need to also figure out as cities what we can do individually. And I wish we can find the funding to do a resource center. That would be amazing. So again, I think tonight with Kingdom Causes coming, it all kind of plugged in together. I get what our voices were out there asking for this $3 billion per year from the state budget. Quer Stallings already talked about an eco-friendly fair, and yes, a lot of peanut butter and ice cream cones. Paramount Historical Society, we did have, don't forget, it's our parade on June 5th. So putting it out there, please let us know if you want to be involved. You can get a hold of, August 5th. God, that was like next month, right? June, sorry. I'm making myself nervous. So yeah, me too. I was like, August 5th is the Paramount Parade Festival. Our theme this year is Paramount Pride. And we already have our, what's the person? We have a Grand Marshal, but I'm going to leave it as a secret right now. I'll get that out to you soon. But if anybody's interested in joining, you can contact me or Quer Stallings. We are part of the committee.
What time's the parade this year?
It's going to start at 12.
At 12.
We're moving it to 12, so it'll be 12 o'clock noon start time.
Oh, wonderful.
We also had our membership meeting last night with our first guest speaker. His name was Javier Servin. He actually did a video about the Paramount Hay Tree. So I'm not sure if we can get that on there on our social media, but it was a really good story. He presented it to our members last night, and it was a really good meeting. We also did like a Paramount historical trivia quiz, and everybody had the quiz, and we went through it, and like a lot of people knew the answers, which I was very surprised. So it was a really great meeting last night. So next one will be July, so we'll get that out to you guys. I attended my Celico Governing Board meeting. I just want to share with you, I'm sure we'll be putting it out there that there will be a job fair at Sims Park in the city of Bellflower on June 3rd, so I'm sure this will be out on our social media. And I also attended bright and early at 6:40 in the morning with my colleagues. We were at Horchateria with Telemundo on Channel 4. We were interviewed. Actually, I think we were on the news. I think people were texting us, oh my God, we just saw you on the news. But it was super amazing to actually have Paramount broadcasted like that. And there was a lot of community members that were there early too. that early at 6:30 in the morning coming out, and it was, I think the community members enjoyed it. And Madam Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay. Vice Mayor Delgadillo?
Oh, definitely. Hi, Madam Mayor. I stopped by the Pastor Debbie Jaminson's Lifegate Church for their Women's Religious Conference. And for the short time that I was there, I felt the love and peacefulness, and which was in the air, and it was wonderful. And I'd like to thank Pastor Jamison for the wonderful invitation. I attended the retirement dinner for the La Cañada Flint Ridge City Manager, Mr. Mark Alexander. He served his city for 30 years, and I wish him all the best on his retirement. And along with my colleagues, I also attended the city's eco-friendly fair, and I learned so much about water conservation and ways to care for our earth. And I am an avid gardener, and I learned how to plant a tree. Thank you for the education, and thank you, staff, for all your hard work. And finally, my colleagues and I attended the Channel 4 coffee at the Hoteria Rio Luna. Our community warmly welcomed the Channel 4 news team to Paramount, and pictures were taken with the newscasters, and plenty of coffee was consumed with happy smiles. And thank you, Channel 4, for visiting our city. Thank you. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so I attended a lot of the same events as my colleagues. As always, we are really busy and we are everywhere. The Leaders Summit in Sacramento, we did speak with our legislators, and like Councilmember Olmos said, we are definitely advocating for local control. And the homeless issue is something that all of our colleagues at the other councils are trying to address. And it is great to be at these conferences, and we hear, some of the surrounding cities say, wait, you guys are doing that? Wait, can we look at it? Can we see it? So we're doing great things. We're, really, a step ahead of a lot of these things, and just trying to just grasp what we can. But it is great because, I think we've all heard, different colleagues from other areas say, we're not doing that yet. How long have you guys been doing this? And some of it is fairly new to us, but those other things that we're like, well, we've been doing it for a while. So that just speaks volumes about just the teams, in our city. Eco-friendly fair, 100 fruit trees, the bunnies, the reptiles. The Girl Scouts loved the Historical Society, and they all made their I have one hanging outside of my house. So so they loved those bird feeders. And then I was also at the Horchateria. It was very early, and that early there was a lot of people at the Horchateria, just a lot of residents and people that had moved out of Paramount and came back because they saw that. And it was nice to hear their stories of like, oh, I remember I would go here, or I did this, or I grew up, in this neighborhood. So it was really great. Paramount, the Big Sister Cities, the ribbon cutting, they're back. So we expect some good things from them. And then I was also in Sacramento. I went by myself. But I was there actually to speak on AB 1708. And this is actually it was a proposal to reform Prop 47. And basically what we were asking for was just an increase in accountability for repeat theft offenders. And in some cases, it offered pathways for diversion programs. Unfortunately, it did fail to pass the Assembly Public Safety Committee. However, I have seen, kind of been following this now because it is important to us. The weekend before I was up there was that incident at the 7-Eleven. So I went up there after hearing that, and I was angry. I was angry that this is happening in our community. And so I was even angrier when I saw that, that this did not pass. Because again, what do we tell those business owners? The clerk that said that they locked themselves in a restroom because they were afraid. That is not okay. So I have heard that they're going to see about taking it up again later at another hearing later in this year. So we definitely have to, just follow that and see where it goes with it, because we definitely need to speak up. And there was a lot of things that you experience firsthand when you're there, and it is not okay that, our businesses and our residents are having to deal with some of these, where there hasn't been consequences like the way there was in the past.
for some of these repeat thefts. So yeah, it was definitely powerful. So we need to follow that. That is all I have. Any comments from staff?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a few. As you mentioned, Topeka is back. Topeka's Sister Cities Association is back, and we as staff are happy to hear that too. As you know, they played an integral part in the annual Easter Fair. We took it up this year and previous year because of the lack of the Topeka Sister Cities Association becoming involved. So now that they're back, we're excited for that. The next thing is the video that you all saw. That was produced by our communications consultant, and I'm sure you really enjoyed that. It was a really professional video. Just want to make you aware, we applied for the Helen Putnam Award for that program. So the video was submitted to the League of California Cities, who obviously gives out the Helen Putnam Award every year at the big conference, which is coming up in September, I believe. So we'll see. We have our fingers crossed that that with the video, the application, with the program, the volunteer program that we applied for, that we would be good candidates for the Helen Putnam Award. So for those of you that don't know, the Helen Putnam Award is very prestigious in the local government in the state of California. They only select a few cities of the 482 cities that are in California are picked each year for this distinguished award for either programs or services that are creative. So we hope to win. We'll see what happens. So, yeah.
Win that before.
We did, well, quite some time ago. Yeah.
Just once, or was it twice?
Chris, do you know how many times we won Helen Putnam? Just once? Do you recall? Twice. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, twice. So hopefully we can. Yeah. So fingers crossed. And the last thing, I kind of started a trend last meeting with singing happy birthday to Andrew. We have another birthday that we just had. And also this person just completed their master's program. So she now has a master's degree, Miss Maggie Matson, our public safety director. So two things, yeah. So she completed her master's on Friday, and her birthday was on Sunday. So happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
It's up to you. You want to say, okay, let's do it. Say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Maggie. Happy birthday to you. And she said this morning she's so happy to be done with her program and her thesis, and now she can go back to becoming full-time mom and a full-time public safety director. And that concludes my comments, Madam Mayor.
Congratulations, Maggie. And with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting to a meeting on May 9th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Have a good night, everyone.